It is March 3rd, 2016. This is the Watchman News, and I'm Mike Callahan. I'm getting reports just out that there have been different individuals that have been placed under arrest, and probably more coming. So first we'll start out with David Bundy. This is posted on the Bundy Ranch page, and it says as follows. Davey Bundy has been arrested. His local county sheriff is a coward and is hiding under his desk. Sheriff Decker told Davey's wife that the FBI trumps his jurisdiction. He obviously doesn't understand the Constitution. Attached is a reminder of what these thugs have already done to Davey in the past. Okay, that is the first bit. The second bit, the second arrest, I should say, will be here. And this was posted in Portsmouth Patch, and it's titled, Report, FBI arrests Tea Party activist, Trump supporter, Jerry Delemus. Update, agents took custody of Delemus on 9 charges, including conspiracy to commit an offense against the U.S., threatening, and obstruction. The story reads as follows. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has taken custody of Jerry Delemus, a New Hampshire Tea Party activist who previously made trips to Nevada to take part in the Bundy Ranch standoff and the federal forestry building seizure in Oregon 2 months ago, according to reports. Delemus faces 9 federal charges, including conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States, threatening a federal law enforcement officer, obstruction of justice, attempting to impede or injure a federal law enforcement officer, and several firearms charges when he was in Nevada to support the Bundy family at the ranch. According to the indictment, Delemus was mid-level leader and organizer of the conspiracy who, among other things, recruited, organized, trained, and provided logistical support to gunmen and other followers and organized and led armed patrols and security checkpoints. According to Jack Kimball, the former chairman of the New Hampshire GOP State Representative Susan Delemus, Republican of Rochester, Jerry's wife, called him and said they had taken custody of him today, March 3rd, 2016. She said that the FBI just rolled up with lots of vehicles and agents who were in tactical gear, Kimball wrote on Facebook earlier this morning. They forced their way into Jerry Delemus and Sue's condo with weapons drawn and arrested Jerry and took him away. Kimball said he believed the custody was connected to Bundy Ranch incident and all New Hampshire patriots to come together ASAP to protest this tyranny in the most visible way possible. Kimball said he would update his friends on Facebook after receiving more information. A good and patriotic Marine is now being prosecuted for standing up for liberty, he noted. A media relations officer at the FBI Boston office referred all questions about the charges to the Department of Justice. The U.S. DOJ has not returned an email request to Patch. Okay, and there is another story that goes along with all of this that I received today as well in the email. And this one is from the Daily Sheeple. And it's titled, More Ranchers Being Targeted. Oregon grass-fed ranchers have animals confiscated, face criminal charges for grazing livestock. This reads as follows. The latest from Paradise Ranch. The judge has ordered that all the animals we are charged with neglecting be forfeited unless we pay a bond of $39,780 by 4 p.m. Pacific Time, Thursday, June 11th, unless we come up with the money by that time. 35 of our animals, cows and their calves, yearlings, and a boar will be forfeited. Ranchers are not criminals, for now. My partner Ross and I are small ranchers in eastern Oregon. We produce grass-fed beef and lamb. We're passionate about our work and life, but now we stand accused as criminals facing animal neglect accusations. We are being charged with 45 counts of neglect. If convicted, these charges could result in a significant jail sentence. We're being targeted by a joint effort between the Union County District Attorney's Office and essentially an animal rights foundation because of how we manage our livestock, which we raise to provide meat for our customers. What we do is considered immoral and criminal by the California-based Animal Legal Defense Fund, and we are being prosecuted by the only special prosecutor in the country whose salary is paid by a private special interest group. Jacob Kamens is a state of Oregon animal cruelty DDA. His position is funded by an annual grant from the Animal Legal Defense Fund. His home office is in Benton County, Oregon, District Attorney's Office, but he appears in all cases over the state, including our case in Union County. Ross and I started our dream in 2009. After we met, I moved from Washington to Oregon to live at his ranch in a tiny place called Medical Springs. I purchased a ranch property in Somerville, Oregon for pasture. I was leaving a stressful job and a suburban living for a country life working outdoors. One second. I was also sick. I had spent 2 years battling Crohn's disease, including a hospitalization, and was still recovering from the aftermath of brain surgery to remove a brain tumor. I was on a journey back to good health, having decided to give up processed foods and eat real food, including grass-fed meats. I was at a healthy weight for the first time in my adult life, and I was making great progress, keeping the Crohn's disease in remission. I wanted to share my success as part of my dream. Ross and I decided to start a grass-fed beef business. We were passionate about sharing our meat with others who are also looking for healthy food and healthy bodies. Over the next years, our passion increased as our business increased and our customers shared their personal stories about good eating. Today, we produce grass-fed beef and lamb and milk-fed pork. We're proud that every cut of meat we sell comes from an animal that we raised from birth. So we can tell our customers with confidence about that animal's life and care. We only sell directly to consumers because we want the people who eat our meat to know us personally. So we've adopted the USDA's motto, know your farmer, know your food. We do not ship. We only deliver so that each customer gets a handshake or a hug and we can swap stories. Ranching is a tough life, full of challenges, accomplishments, and heartbreak. But we love it. We're living our dream every day, and our customers love what we do. On Tuesday, January 27, 2015, we became accused criminals. The Union County Sheriff's Department served us with a search and seizure warrant after several animals died over an extended period of time. The next day, they confiscated every head of livestock from our Somerville, Oregon property on the grounds of criminal neglect, but nothing more specific than that. They stole our breeding boar and sow, 6 mules, 5 horses, 23 yearling calves, 2 bulls, 4 steers, and 43 cows. The mother cows represent years of genetic selection for cows that will do well living on a pasture and eating only grass. Almost all of our mother cows, all of our future beef, and hog breeding stock were taken. This is the majority of our livestock. Prior to the seizure, law enforcement had not presented us with any specific concerns that they wanted to see addressed. They did not work with us to have a veterinarian come on the property to assess our animals. They did not ask to see our hay purchase records to confirm how much hay we were buying and feeding. They had never cited us for lack of appropriate care for our livestock. This led us to think we were meeting their expectations, but in a matter of hours, they took our past, present, and future. As shocked and surprised as we were at this event, it did not come out of the blue. It was a long time in the making. It started in 2013 when we got complaints from the Union County Sheriff's Department. An animal control deputy was driving by the property 2 to 3 times a day. She thought the horses were on a pasture that was too short. She thought the cows did not have enough to eat. She didn't see any feed out for the animals. She acknowledged that all the animals looked healthy, but she was worried that they might run out of food in a month. She complained that no one lived on the property and expressed concern that we weren't on site often enough. Then we started getting reports that the neighbors were complaining about the same things. By November 2013, the amount of contact from the sheriff's department reached harassment level. We made an appointment with the deputy sheriff and our veterinarian to meet at the property and be present while the veterinarian assessed all our livestock. The complaining deputy sheriff and her supervising officer were both supposed to be present for the assessment. They canceled. Our veterinarian assessed every horse, mule, hog, sheep, cow, and steer. They were all in good health and in satisfactory body condition. Our veterinarian wrote on a report and sent it to the deputy sheriff. The deputy sheriff told us that the matter would be closed and she would communicate the content to the vet's report to our neighbors who were complaining to keep them at bay. We thought we were finally going to have peace. We had demonstrated to concerned sheriff's deputies that we were, in fact, responsible livestock owners. We visited the property regularly. We took care of the animals. We fed when necessary under the terms of our management program. In fall of 2014, it all started again. We were told that neighbors were complaining about the horses and mules being neglected. We continually asked if there was a single thin animal. Their response was always no. Then, on December 5th, 2015, we received a message that our flock of sheep had no food. The deputy demanded that we get to the property immediately and feed the sheep, despite the fact that 2 cattle feeders full of quality alfalfa hay were on a side of the barn not visible from the road. We reminded the deputy that we are in the meat business and it made no sense for us to starve the very animals that are livelihood. You get it. The deputy seemed to accept our response. This is a long read, folks. Then, on December 26, 2015, we got an email message from the deputy that the neighbor was, again, complaining about the horses and sheep being neglected. We agreed to meet her and a sergeant at the property. At that time, we were feeding hay to the sheep, horses, and mules, and it had been some time. We showed them the horses. They agreed that they were healthy, and even their feet looked fine. We showed them the sheep and their feeders full of hay. They agreed that the sheep were being cared for. We walked among our herd of cows and yearling calves. We all acknowledged that some of the cows were on the thin side, but it was winter. The cattle were out on a pasture, and we explained that we expected them to gain weight when we started feeding hay. We explained that we would start feeding cattle within days. No citation was issued. Whew. Getting tongue-tied here. The following weeks were full of soggy, wet winter weather, the toughest type for livestock and livestock owners. The entire 160-acre property was waterlogged and flooded in some places. Cows and yearlings were getting stuck in the mud. No animal was dry. Most of the property was inaccessible to our tractor due to the mud. Several cows had died over a period of time. We now have evidence that they had consumed plastic bags and baling twine that had blocked their guts. But we made sure that all the animals had a constant supply of hay in their feeders. It wasn't enough for the Union County Sheriff's Office. All of our animals were seized. I will leave a link. It is quite lengthy.
Oh my God, that's like 50 foot long.
I will leave a link in the description for this and the other reports. And my goodness. So to recap, Davey Bundy arrested. Jeremy, or is it Jerry? Hang on a second here. Jerry Delemus. So Davey Bundy and Jerry Delemus is now being held for crimes related to Bundy Ranch and some crimes related to the Oregon Standoff.